Hi, welcome to Andy's Trains Repair and Service. Snowing again. Today is February 22nd of 2021 and it is snowing again for like the 15th millionth time in the last month. I'm getting tired of snowing and shoveling and everything. Anyway, if I had to make videos on snow removal, I don't think anyone would have enough time to watch them all. Anyway, okay, so today, whoa, I'm gonna fix my chair so I don't fall off. That would be a blooper. Anyway, today we're going to work on a 224. The 224 right there. No magnet traction, no smoke. Okay, this 224 I believe is from the late 40s, 47, 8 or whatever it was after the war. So it's kind of post-war, but it doesn't have all those fancy features because magnet traction didn't come in until the 50s. They actually started, 1950. They actually put it in one engine, I guess as a test or something, I don't know. But it was in the switcher. The 622 had magnet traction, and that was 1949. So I was shocked. I didn't know that until I got one of those, and I was like, "Whoa, this thing's from '49. How the heck does it have magnet traction?" But in any case, so 1950 was the official rollout announcement from Lionel about magnet traction. This does not have magnet traction. It does not have a smoke in it. So we know that it's from the recent, I should say, right after the war. Okay? Alright. So, what we're going to do is, it's filthy. It's really, really filthy. I don't know if you can really see that well. And by the way, I'm going to try not to zoom in on this video because every time I zoom in to show you something, I forget to zoom out and then you miss half of what I'm doing. So I'll try to get better at videoing. I'm good at doing work on trains and refurbishing and cleaning and all that stuff, but I am terrible at video. So, in any case, this particular engine is, there's a lot to be learned in taking this thing apart and putting it back together. And what I mean by that is that in the early days, like this one, these engines were a fine piece of machinery. I mean, they were making toys, but let me tell you something. These things were made like, industrial strength machines. And this one in particular, the earlier days, even my 1952 675 has some of these features. But what they did was on the running gear, on this running gear and all, you have screws. You have screws for a lot of the pieces that attach and move that you have to take off. You have to take off the screws before you can take the motor out. You have the back plate for the rear truck, and you've seen my other videos where I've warned you about trying to accidentally unscrew things and then pull this thing straight out. If you do that on this one, you'll break that piece that I've showed you before in other videos. In the back here, there's a guide right here. I don't know if you can see it. There's a guide right here, and that's in between the floor of the cab and that guide. So if you try to pull this up, you could break that. So anyway, you got to take out all the screws. There's screws in the front. There's 4 screws in the front. 2 hold the truck, 2 hold the steam chest. There's a lot of stuff to take off. So what I'm going to do is, I guess I'll show you some of it, and then maybe we'll stop the video and do the rest. Let's see what we run into. But I've already taken the liberty of taking the first screw out, which is right here in the top of the boiler. That was a newer feature. The older ones there's a hole in the side here, but they used to put a screw through the back and the front. This one only has one in the front. Okay, so I've already taken that screw out, and I have loosened up this one that goes across the front to hold the front of the can't do it with that. Just gotta slide it out. I already, okay, there it is. You can see that goes across, screws in, helps to hold in the front of the motor. Okay. Oh, and by the way, what I like to do when I'm going to do a job like this that has a lot of screws and pieces, I take this old egg tray, and it has nice little crevices here, little pockets. Okay, and I start putting parts in as I take them off. It's a little bit easier to kind of keep track of what you're doing when you're putting it back together, actually. So anything that has to do with, you know, removing the actual motor from the frame, I put in the first spin. You can do it any way you want, whatever floats your boat, in order to make sure you put all the screws back and you don't lose one off to the side somewhere or whatever, and you forget to put it in and you can't find it and blah blah blah. Believe me, it's happened. Okay, so here we are. I took that out, took the other one out. We're going to get right to it as quick as possible because I do not want to bore you with a lot of words. So we're going to take the front truck off right here, and we'll be doing, those of you who may have seen some other videos of mine, you know that I'm going to clean this thing to the point where it's bright and shiny inside and out. And well, the guys that fix these things, if you're paying them to fix it, they don't do that. They'll just fix what's wrong and give it back to you filthy as heck. I like to clean them. So there's the front truck. It has the little bulb holder in it, so you just unclip the bulb. The big parts I put right in the middle of this tray. That's why I like this tray. I could put the big stuff in the middle because it's one big area, and then the little pieces on the sides, as I showed you. So now we're going to take off the plate that holds the rear in place, and you could do anything you want in order to keep yourself honest with regard to what screws go back where. I've done this so many times I don't have to really worry about that, and if I forget, I look at the book and it shows me. So now I took off the screws to hold the back plate, which holds the back truck, the rear truck, and now I can easily lift it up, turn it, lift it right up with that whole mechanism coming out, and I don't have to worry about it. And that's going to go over there. And wow, we got some really good spider webs in here. Whew. This came from that same collection that you may have seen me work on other stuff where everything's filled with spiders and whatnot. Okay, I'm going to take, I'm going to take this off as well. Only because I'm going to want to clean it a certain way. So we will take off the steam chest here, screws, and again, magnetized screwdriver. I magnetized it myself using heavy magnets that I have. I don't know where they are right now, but I would show you how to do that. Maybe I'll show you later, different video. But you just kind of run them along the blade in the same direction, not back and forth, but in the same direction. And what you're doing is you're taking all the molecules and polarizing them, and then voila, you wind up with a screwdriver that's magnetized. Okay, so this does not have that. Okay, so we loosen this up. That's good. That's very good. Okay. Now we're going to take off these screws that hold the slides for this near the steam chest here. That fell in, no problem. Just turn it upside down, falls right out. Okay, I've started my second little tray there with the two I took out from the steam chest. Take out this one. Okay, got that one. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take out these guides. See? Put that in the larger area. I like to take all this stuff off because I'm going to clean it. Even though these are not rusted or anything, but they're dirty, I'm going to clean them. We'll polish them up. Polish is a better word for it. Okay. So I'm going to double check that I take all the screws out. Did I take all the screws out? Nothing there. Ah, the ones on the side I did not take out. These have to be taken out because they hold in the gear. Now you have the choice. You could take this. You could take the one off the crank, okay, out, and that would release this. Or you could take this one out. Now I want to keep the running gear all with the wheels because later when I clean this boiler, I don't want any of these parts hanging on. So this is a specialty screw. We start putting them in a different little bin here. Took that one off. Take the next one off on this side. Again, no particular order, but try to do it in an order where things aren't flopping around while you're trying to take other screws out. And okay, so I think we got everything now. It's pretty loose, loosey-goosey. Come on, honey. Oh, I know why. It's because somebody bent these wires. I don't know if they did that at the factory or not, but these wires are bent. They don't have to be. I'm going to straighten them at the risk of breaking them because I don't like them bent like that anyway. That's the handrails that come down into the cow catcher here. So I'm just going to kind of bend this a bit straight. There you go. Do the other one. And there you go. Take that off. Now we can clean it really nice. We'll clean that up nice. Put that in there. Take this whole running gear out. And voila. You get the bulb still attached. There's no smoke unit, so we don't have to worry about that. We have the E unit, obviously the brush plates, the gears, the bearing for the gears, etc. Alright, and we're going to do a job on this thing, baby. And it doesn't look super bad as far as dirt on the commutator, but it didn't want to run, so it's all gunked up with old grease, I guess. So what we're going to do is we're going to clean everything, obviously, but what I'm going to do is, because it's a pain having these things hanging down and you run the risk of breaking them, bending them, etc., what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off, at least take off the crank screw and put this gear, running gear, in the tray. Same thing on the other side. So this way when we clean it and run it and do testing and so on and so forth, we don't have these flipping around and you know, going crazy. All right, so that's the next step. Now we don't need this anymore. And before I take off this ring here, let me just get this out of the way. We're going to leave this for now, but later we're going to clean that up. It's a mess. So we just take this whole thing, and by the way, this is an aluminum tray that I got from a friend of mine. It's U-shaped, actually, you know. And then I put a piece of rug, glued piece of rug on it, and then I put a piece of towel, old pajamas. Notice I like plaid, right? Yeah, plaid and plaid. Okay. Anyway, I made it nice and comfy for putting delicate stuff like that. Delicate meaning I don't want to scratch it. Okay. In the meantime, I always like to have a little white piece of towel down. I don't do it so much for the cleaning. You know, like, do I have to have a clean surface in front of me? Not really. The reason why I do it is because it's easier to see pieces. It's easier to see the parts and so on. Just something I do. You don't have to do. Okay, so we're going to take, I'm going to do it this way so I can show you. So we're going to take one at a time, rest it like this so everybody's happy, and I keep these left is left and right is right. Now, this particular engine, the E unit is in the front. Notice here's the bulb. E unit's in the front. So that's the front of the motor. Okay, so this has to face the front. So that makes this, what I just took off, the left side running gear. Okay, so the left side running gear is going to go on the left side of my tray. Now, I have a front of the tray, a back to the tray, a right side, and a left side. And that helps me to put things back the way they came off. And why do I like to do that? Because mechanical things like this that run and twirl, you know, and swirl around and turn and, you know, rub as they do, they wear in certain ways. You know, the bearings and everything wear in the heads of the screws a certain way when they're on the, you know, right side versus the left side. Basically the same. You could, you know, but they are right side and left side gear. You can't take basically the right one and put on the left, and it won't fit the crank. All right, so now I'm not going to take off this rod yet. Okay, we're going to wait until we get to the cleaning stage to take that off. Cleaning of the rod, that is, and the wheels. We're going to clean everything about the wheels, including behind the wheel, right down to where the bearings are, where the axle sticks out and the wheel is attached. And I do that, as I'll show you later, very simply. We're going to take out the E unit. We're going to clean the E unit. But before we do that, what I'm going to do is I like to face it towards me, so it's slanted towards me. And the first thing I'm going to do is open up the brush plate. Okay, again, if you remember from some of my earlier videos, when we take brushes out of the brush plate, we always want to make sure we put them back in the same side. So right now I have the front of the engine facing the brick wall over here, and the back of it is facing to my right. So we only have to worry about it until we put this all back together, until we put the brush plate back on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this down, the second screw I take out, get rid of the screw. There you go. I love that screwdriver. Anyhow, so we're going to take this out in such a way that we won't mix up the right from the left. And here you go. Here's the right. Here's the right side brush, and here's the left side brush. And I know for a fact, I know that this is facing, the front is facing my left. Okay, the wall. So, not a big thing to remember. Let me show you this. Now, we always want to make sure we don't rupture or rub wires so that they get cut or frayed. These wires are that cloth wire. They're fantastic. This is relatively clean. This brush plate is clean. What's dirty is the actual brush holders, the brush tubes, and the hole for the armature, which, by the way, is quite large, actually. So right now, let's see. I don't know if you can see that commutator in there. Let's move this out of the way and see if you can see it. There's the commutator right there. It's kind of hard to see the shiny brass plates, right? Because they're not shiny, they're filthy. So we're going to move this over here. What we're going to do is we're going to take our alcohol cap. Now you can do it any way you want. I don't care where you put your alcohol, or, you know, I have my own little ways of doing it. As many of you who have seen other videos of mine know, I put a small amount of alcohol in the cap that I got from a different bottle. Some people have said to me, why don't you get a bigger cap? Well, I don't want a bigger cap because I don't use, you know, large amounts of alcohol at one time. And I have a tendency to knock them over and spill it. So, anyway,